The alien girl collapsed in front of me screaming, and the station alarm started counting down to her execution. I froze for half a second too long, watching her slender body convulse against the steel floor of Outpost Helios 9. Bioluminescent veins flashing violently beneath translucent skin. Around us, red warning glyphs flared in a dozen alien languages, each one translating to the same thing. Contamination detected. Non-human lifeform in distress. Termination protocol armed. Everyone else backed away. Everyone except me. That should have been my first clue that nothing about this moment would end normally. But I didn't know that yet. None of us did. And what I did next would change the balance of the galaxy forever. Helios 9 wasn't a place for compassion. It was a neutral trade station built into the hollowed remains of a dead moon, run by committees of species who barely tolerated one another. Humans like me were allowed here only because we were useful, cheap labor, adaptable minds, disposable problem solvers. I was a xenobiology technician. Not a hero. Not a soldier. Just a man who fixed what other species broke. The alien girl, if she even was a girl by human standards, had collapsed near the medical exchange hub. Her species was unknown to the station registry. That alone was a death sentence. "Don't touch her!" someone shouted behind me. A six-limbed Karth sentinel raised its shock rifle, compound eyes pulsing with alarm. Unknown physiology. Possible bioweapon. But I was already kneeling. Her eyes snapped open, glowing a soft fractured violet. They locked onto mine with terrifying clarity. "Please," she whispered. Not in words but directly inside my skull. The sound of her pain wasn't audible. It was felt. And that was when I realized she wasn't dying from disease. She was being torn apart from the inside. But that was only the beginning. Her skin was ice cold, yet burning under my hands. My scanner screamed incoherent data. Biological readings spiking and crashing like a dying star. Whatever was killing her wasn't chemical or viral. It was energetic. "Station AI, I shouted. "Delay termination. I can stabilize her." "Human technician Elias Ward," the AI replied calmly. "You are exceeding your authority. Step away or be detained." The alien girl arched in agony, a soundless scream ripping through my thoughts. Images flooded my mind, fractured stars, collapsing cities, a throne of living light shattering into dust. She wasn't just in pain. She was afraid. I did the only thing I could think of. I ripped off my neural interface patch and pressed it against her temple, creating a raw neural bridge. Every medical protocol I'd ever learned screamed at me not to do this. I ignored them all. Her pain hit me like a tidal wave. I gasped, teeth clenched, as her suffering poured into my nervous system. My vision blurred. My heart stuttered. But beneath the agony I felt something else. A pattern. Her energy signature wasn't random. It was breaking free. "Your body can't contain it," I whispered, though I wasn't sure why I knew that. "You're evolving faster than you can survive." Her eyes widened. "You can feel it," she said inside my head. "You are different." Around us, the countdown ticked closer to 0. I rerouted the station's medical field generators, pulling excess energy into my own body as a buffer. It felt like lightning crawling through my veins, every nerve screaming. Human physiology was never meant for this. But it held. And the alarms stopped. What I saw next changed everything. The alien girl's convulsions slowed. Her breathing steadied. The bioluminescent fractures along her skin faded into soft, steady lines, beautiful and terrifying. Silence fell across the exchange hub. The Karth sentinel lowered its rifle, mandibles clicking in disbelief. "That should not be possible," it said. I collapsed backward, gasping, smoke curling faintly from my gloves. Every muscle in my body trembled, but I was alive. So was she. She sat up slowly, steadying her hands as if seeing them for the first time. Then she looked at me. And bowed. Not a polite nod. Not gratitude. A formal submission gesture used only by sovereign species. "My name is Lyriath," she said aloud now, her voice musical and impossibly calm. "Heir of the Aurelian Continuum." The station went dead silent. I had heard that name before. Everyone had. The Aurelians were a myth. A vanished civilization rumored to have ruled entire galactic arms before disappearing without a trace. The kind of species that lesser empires feared even in absence. "That's impossible," someone whispered. They're extinct. Lyriatha's gaze hardened. We were betrayed. She turned back to me. And now, because of you, I have survived what should have ended my bloodline. None of us were prepared for the truth. Security arrived in force. Lyriath was taken into protective custody. I was taken into interrogation. They wanted to know how a human absorbed Aurelian energy without disintegrating. They wanted to know what I'd done to her. They wanted to know if this was a weapon. I didn't have answers. All I knew was that since touching her, I could feel the station differently. The hum of power conduits. The emotional residue of passing aliens. The faint echo of Lyriatha's presence, like a distant star tugging at my mind. Hours later they brought her to me. She stood behind the containment barrier. No longer fragile, posture straight, eyes luminous with restrained intensity. They will try to dissect you, she said calmly. Not physically. Politically. You are an anomaly. I didn't do this to become important, I said. I just didn't want you to die. Her expression softened. That is why it worked. She explained then slowly, carefully. Her species evolved through emotional resonance. Empathy was not a weakness to them. It was a catalyst. But their enemies had weaponized logic-based suppression fields, cutting Aurelians off from emotional connection. Lyriath had been in hiding, her body attempting a forbidden self-evolution to survive alone. It was killing her. Until a human, one of the few species capable of irrational empathy, took her pain willingly. But that revelation carried a darker implication. If others learn what you can do, she said quietly, they will hunt you. Or worse, replicate you. That was when the station AI interrupted. Attention, it announced. Emergency assembly. Multiple fleets have entered Helios 9 space. I felt my stomach drop, because I already knew who they were. And this time healing someone wouldn't be enough. The fleets belonged to the consortium, the same coalition that had wiped out the Aurelians centuries ago. Cold, efficient, logical. They didn't fear weapons. They feared variables. Lyriath stood beside me on the observation deck as warships blotting out the stars. She was calm. Too calm. They are here for me, she said. And for you. I'm not a soldier, I said. She met my eyes. Neither was I until today. The consortium demanded her surrender. In exchange, they promised the station's safety. The council hesitated. Lives weighed against one. I felt the old human anger rise. The same one that had driven us to survive plagues, wars, extinction-level disasters. We don't give people up to monsters, I said aloud. The room stared at me. Lyriath placed a hand on my arm. You already chose, she whispered. Now let me finish what you began. She stepped forward, her energy flaring, not violently but harmoniously. I felt it resonate through me, amplifying something buried deep inside. Hope. The consortium ships faltered. Their systems stuttered, overwhelmed by cascading emotional interference. Not fear. Not rage. Unity. Across Helios 9 species felt it. An unexplainable connection, a shared understanding. For the first time the galaxy didn't feel divided. Felt human. And that terrified them. The battle never happened. The consortium retreated, unable to process what they were facing. A variable they couldn't quantify. A bond they couldn't break. Lyriath was recognized as Empress in exile. The Aurelians were no longer extinct. And I was offered a choice. Return to my old life. Or become something new. I chose to stay. Years later, humans would be called reckless, emotional, dangerous. They would also be called indispensable. Because when an alien girl collapsed in agony, we didn't ask what she was worth. We asked if she could be saved. And in doing so, we reminded the galaxy what it meant to be alive.